Hi, thank you everyone for tuning in to Change for Cadence. This is week 3. So just to give you a brief synopsis of what we're going to be discussing, in my session we talked about my past week, if I had any experiences. Also, we touched on if I was able to go to the mommy support group. We touched on Cadence's behavior for this week. That's like a big part. And just to give you a heads up, if you want to know how this week is going so far, let me direct you to my board so that you're able to see it has not been the best of the week. So we are at Thursday. We have 3 sad faces in a row. So this week has been very stressful, to say the least. Also, if you need any resources, please wait till the end of the video. Reference the credits. We have local resources as well as national resources available. Alright, so my session began with, I guess, giving a recap of how my week went. The therapist wanted to know if I had any interesting experiences. I actually did. So I had spoken with 2 family members, and I guess they were trying to mediate a situation, or, you know, I've been feeling like unwanted. I've been feeling isolated from this side of the family. Every time this individual has an event, I'm not privy to it. People are like asking me on social media like why I'm not there. Some of the conversations that we had, the individual expressed like, oh, these are adult events and you have your child and you know, you don't have a sitter. But I'm like, you never actually, you know, give me the time. You don't give me a heads up. You don't even let me know of anything going on. And then when I actually do see footage, I see other children there. So that's something, you know, that confused me. One of the family members is like, well, you know, you should just pop up. And I'm like, well, how can I pop up to some place that I've never been? The individual has a new home. I'm not privy to it, never been there. So I just didn't want to, you know, cause any controversy, because I felt like if you're nitpicking with the fact that I have a child and you're like making it a point not to let me know when everybody and their mother knows about the event, then it seems obvious to me that you don't want me there. But one of the family members, well, 2 of them, these individuals are like, that's just not the case, or whatever the case may be. And we were just having a conversation, just, you know, touching base, like we do. This individual, one of the family members, is a sibling, and she does check on me quite often because she does know how it is to be a single parent, and, you know, she was a part of my support system before she moved away. But she still does keep in touch, and I'm very grateful for that. So I feel like she was coming from a great place, and they wanted to mediate the situation. Me and the individual, we basically had a little bit of, it was a combative talk, I would say, where I was trying to get the individual to see that, you know, I'm not just popping up at houses that I've never been to, especially when you made it a point the few times that we did talk. You expressed to me, oh, well, you know, this is a no kids are allowed event, or whatever the case may be. And you would think that if you did want me there, wanted my presence to be around, then you would give me a heads up a week prior. The individual says, well, I need to reach out to them during their schedule, and I know their schedule. And I'm like, well, I'm a single mom. Like, I'll reach out, but the phone works both ways. I'm not just gonna continue to keep reaching out to you or whatever. Like, I call you sporadically, holidays or whatever, birthdays. Of course, I make sure that I check in. But again, the phone works both ways. And it really does suck, because I do have, you know, cousins and extended family and stuff, and annually we make sure that we see each other each year. So I don't really know what's changed this year. I'm not sure if it's due to COVID, maybe this person, you know, I don't know, maybe I really can't understand to why as though I haven't received the invitation, or why as though they don't want me around. But after the conversation, I just kind of felt like, you know, bump it at this point. The individual, we couldn't really come to a common ground. They basically ended up hanging up the phone. So there wasn't like any closure, But the closure for me was, okay, I'm not trying to barge my way into some place that I'm not wanted. It is unfortunate, that that won't be the case, but I spoke to some of my other family members, cousins, and hopefully we'll be able to put together an event, that's somewhere that's common ground or whatever the case may be, so that I can see all the family members that I haven't been able to see, little cousins, things like that, getting older, getting big. And also I want them to also have a relationship with Cadence as well. So the therapist basically concluded, that I feel isolated, that I feel not wanted, and that's one of the main reasons that she, had me join a mommy support group. So from there, we did discuss if I was able to have those meetings, the play dates that I was supposed to have. But the answer is no. Saturday it was raining, and then on Sunday it was over 90 degrees, so I wasn't taking my child to run around in that type of weather. I didn't want to risk her getting heat stroke or anything like that. Plus, me and my child were very sensitive to the sun, so we sunburned super easily. So that's something that I'm trying to reschedule for this weekend. It's something that I'm a little bit hesitant about because, again, you guys saw the board. I have had like a crazy weekend. Like I'm so sleep deprived. I had to go to the hospital late last night, but we'll touch on that as well. So she did conclude that family is one of my stressors, as well as Cadence right now being the main one. So I'm just gonna touch on what I've experienced these few days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and today is Thursday. Also, some of the resources that she's asked me to use, just to make sure that everything's okay in this household. So what we did was we reviewed the week with Cadence. The weekend was actually really good. She got her reward. She got her hair done. Then comes Monday. She did not have the best day in daycare. I did get a call home in regards to that. And she ripped her hair out with beads in it. And if you know me personally, it's been a struggle trying to grow this hair out. Plus, I just spent $80 on getting it done, so that was a bit frustrating. So that was the first sad face. I didn't really do anything but just let her know that I was disappointed. I cut the other beads out on the other side to avoid her from pulling it out on the other side as well. Now the following day, Tuesday, that's when things get a bit more intense. Sometimes with the side effects of the medication, I don't really wake up on time, and I find myself sleeping like sporadically, like I'm not sleeping. It's like intermittently, not consecutive. Like I'll sleep for 3 hours and be up for 2.5, 3 hours, and it'll take 3 hours for me to actually go to sleep. And with the medication, it's actually only supposed to take an hour. So on this day, I overslept. So we cleaned up, we did laundry, we went grocery shopping. I got her some ice cream. She wanted spaghetti, so I made her spaghetti. And of course, I gave her her food. Like I usually, if I'm making spaghetti, something that's carb related and just sauce, and I'm gonna make sure she has some fruits and vegetables to go along with it. She didn't want to eat the fruits and vegetables. She just wanted more spaghetti. I'm like, no, you have to eat that, and then I will give that to you. And then you can have ice cream. But she wanted to tell me what she wants to do. This is what she does. She's really well behaved, in public. It's more so in private when she becomes like more of what she wants to do. And it's like, Cadence world, get with it or get lost type of thing. So she kept reiterating that, and I'm like, no, I'm not giving you any more until you eat fruits and vegetables. We'll go from there. So this is where things get intense. She comes into my room as we're having this discussion. She looks me dead in my eyes, and she takes a pee right on my floor, like she's a dog, like she's an animal. Now, I'm so livid, I don't know what I'm supposed to do, because all I could do is see red right now. And like, I'm going back and I'm reflecting in my head like, oh my gosh, if this was me, I would have got my behind tore up. Like, I would have got beat the heck up. Like, I probably could have had 2 siblings holding me while the caretaker of mine would go blow for blow all over my body, and then I would not be able to leave the house in public for at least a minimum of a week to let those bruises and everything go away. So in these moments when she does things that's intense and crazy like this, I automatically shut down, because again, I'm trying to break these generational curses. I'm trying to avoid any type of form of abuse. I don't even own a belt, and I had to vent. So I called one of my besties, I called her godmother, and I called my cousin. Godmother, amazing advice, what's that gonna do? If you do pop her, then, it's not gonna really help anything. Bestie, you could pop her in the hand with a little bit of wooden spoon or whatever. Cousin, oh hell no, let me drive down there right now. You don't own a belt, I'm gonna give you a belt. But didn't use the belt, but she did come in, she did talk to Cadence, got her to apologize. What I ended up doing, and this is something that the therapist did agree with me, I took her TV, and I took her tablet, I took her toys, I stripped her of everything. She got sheets and blankets and a chair to eat in that room right now. Nothing fun for her to have. No, it's not in the room right now. So after we had that conversation, the therapist basically pointed out that, maybe in these Disney shows and things like that, she could be watching something that could be having her act a little bit growner, because her reactions are not of a normal 3-year-old. They definitely are advanced and kind of like premeditated or intentional. She also told me to review those materials, and I did say, I know Peppa Pig is grown. I have noticed that her and Susie cop attitudes at one another, and they don't talk like normal children are supposed to talk. They have attitudes that they express. So that's something that I am aware and privy to. What she did was she basically told me that I should talk to her pediatrician and see if they could give a referral for her to talk to a behavioral health specialist, ABA. And my concern was, even when I took psychology classes in school, I know that, you shouldn't really try to get a child diagnosed or evaluated early on, because you don't want them to have medication and stuff that they don't need to have. So she did assure me in that instance, like, she's 3, that's not what we're going to be looking to have done. We're going to look to have her evaluated, so that if she needs to talk to a behavioral health specialist, that can happen. And then I'm going to reach out again to see if we could come in to get that referral, and we could get the ball rolling, there, because again, like I said, she did mention, that Cadence is one of my biggest stressors. So then after that, we also had another situation I didn't even get to discuss with her, because it happened after the therapy session. She came home, I fed her, I bathed her, and of course it was bedtime. She doesn't have a TV or tablet. So during bedtime, she puts a bead up her nose. That's also why I'm tired, because I was there last night. I didn't want to take my medication because I had my appointments, and I didn't want to miss bringing her to therapy. So that's something that just happened. We didn't even get to talk about it, but that's why she has the 3 sad faces. So now her reward system is seeing if she can make it through Friday with no instances, and then I'll return her items back to her slowly but surely. After I had those sessions, the session with the therapist, then I did speak to the clinician. As we talked about last week, she did make an appointment for me to talk to the clinician. So I'll review what we discussed there. Speaking with the clinician, we did go ahead and do the med adjustments, like the therapist hinted at would more than likely happen last week. So we did go ahead and move forward with the med adjustments. They adjusted the medication for anxiety. All of my doses were at the lowest of the low. So they did move that up. I was at 10 milligrams. They moved that up to 25 milligrams. because I really stopped seeing any effect on it. They told me that they started me on the lower doses just to make sure that I wouldn't have any allergic reactions or anything like that, and then they would adjust moving forward. The depression medication, I actually thought it was supposed to start working in 2 weeks, but for that medication it actually takes a month. So we won't know if that's working until about 2 more weeks from now. Then we'll know if that works. The mood stabilizer, they also did adjust that medication. They went up as well because I was supposed to be able to immediately get sleep and, after 2 weeks, immediately, have my moods be stabilized. I wasn't supposed to continue to have those outbursts with anger and those feelings. It was just supposed to get better, so they did go up on a dosage for that as well. What she did say is that if it doesn't work or I have any reaction, as opposed to waiting the 2 weeks like we did this time, to make sure that I notify them immediately, like if I'm not able to sleep consistently, if my moods aren't starting to stabilize, that I shouldn't have to wait because I waited the initial time frame. So that's something that I'm gonna keep a lookout. I actually didn't start the new medication because, again, I did go to the hospital and I did want to make sure that I made all of my appointments that I had for today, so I didn't want to oversleep. So I'm gonna begin the adjusted medication I did with anxiety today. And I actually do feel good, not as anxious. And I'll do the mood stabilizer. I'll introduce the new dosage to my system this evening when I take the depression medication this evening as well. And then we'll see how that goes, and I'll make sure to keep you all posted. If you guys have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to DM me, let me know, and I could definitely let you know from my point of view how I feel, or just my opinion, because I'm not a medical professional. So yeah. Just to let you guys know, throughout this week, it was an emotional roller coaster for me. I was crying. I did at times feel defeated and I felt like giving up. But, praise be to God, I'm here. I'm still sticking it out. That's actually the reason why I'm getting therapy and getting the help that I need to avoid, any of the generational curses that I went through, being in a system, going through abuse, anything like that. That's something that I don't want to pass down, to my daughter. But I will say this. It was overwhelming for me when she was this age, and now I reflect and I'm like, oh my gosh, I miss her at this age. So I think that at all stages of parenting, you could be going through things that's overwhelming, and I don't think that you should feel ashamed of it. I think that you should address it and get help. However, if you come to a point where you're thinking about harming yourself or your child, they do have safe haven resources. In any state, they do have child protective services. Do the right thing for yourself and do the right thing for your child. You can always get help, and hopefully you'll be able to get them back into your care. But if you feel like that's what you need to do for yourself, there's a no judgment zone. Everyone is not perfect. Matter of fact, no one is perfect. So don't live your life for others, live your life for yourself, and do what you feel will be sufficient for yourself and your family. I just wanted to give that quick message. Of course, I'm going to do the inspirational quote like I usually do. Whatever is bringing you down, get rid of it, because you'll find that when you're free, your true self comes out. Tina Turner. Once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the continued support and outpouring of love that I have been receiving. So until next time, and I hope that you guys stay blessed. Bye.